Hello everyone and thank you for tuning into TradeChat. My name is Panzer and today we're going to talk about everything we learned about World of Warcraft at Blizzcon 2016. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you do, remember to rate it thumbs up. Just to quickly get this out of the way, we found out during the opening ceremony that Mischief the Fell Kitten will be making her in-game debut in December of 2016. Mischief, of course, will be available via the pet and mount shop for real money, with her proceeds benefiting the Make-A-Wish Foundation. As I have with all of the other Make-A-Wish Foundation pets, I will definitely be purchasing Mischief, and I would love to know in the comment section below if you will be purchasing her as well. Of course, with Legion launch being so close to BlizzCon, we did not get a new expansion announcement this year, but we did get a whole lot of information about upcoming patches 7.15 as well as 7.2, and even what the future beyond 7.2 holds for World of Warcraft. I think one of the most exciting things that people found out is the way that Blizzard is planning to do patches going forward, rather than just saying like, okay, this is a content patch, it's tied to a raid tier, you get stuff then, and this is a content patch, it's tied to a raid tier, you get stuff then, and this is a content patch, it's tied to a raids tier, you get stuff then. Instead, they are sort of allowing content to be standing on its own 2 feet. So some patches may be smaller and some patches may be bigger, but none of them will necessarily be tied to raid tiers, which I think is really great, particularly for people who aren't raiding, because not everybody's life revolves around raid. I mean, mine kind of does, but not everybody's. Blizzard announced that their biggest goal in Legion is to provide players with a steady stream of well-paced content. This means we're not going to be getting these huge patches that are tied to raid tiers. Instead, we'll see some small patches, some medium patches, and some large patches. In the past, if Blizzard, say, wanted 4 features in a patch and one of them wasn't ready, rather than pushing out these 3 and the 4th one when it was ready, they would hold on to everything until the 4th, which would lead to content droughts and times when maybe we needed those 3 things, but we were waiting on the 4th. Now Blizzard will just push out what's ready when it's ready to go out, trying to keep a more steady patch schedule so that we'll constantly have things to do. They want the world to feel like it's this ever-changing living environment, so you don't necessarily know what's going to happen when you log on every day. There might be new world quests, there might be this, there might be that. It shouldn't feel like a stagnant place. It should feel like it's growing and changing and evolving with you. And I think this, if nothing else, was like one of the best announcements that we heard at BlizzCon, because it sounds like they really took a lot of things to heart from Warlords of Draenor and previous expansions and built upon them in a way that is a good compromise between players and developers. I, for one, welcome small patches more frequently as opposed to having to wait for huge patches. All that being said, the next patch plan for World of Warcraft is patch 7.15, which will not be tied to Nighthold. We do know that Nighthold is the next raid, and it will be coming out sometime in early 2017, probably January, but it is not tied to patch 7.15. So we don't know if 7.15 is coming before or after. We just know the two are unrelated, and that's just how it is. Patch 7.15 will, however, be bringing with it Mists of Pandaria time-walking dungeons, along with the return of the Brawlers Guild. Now, the Brawlers Guild, when it comes back, is going to include all sorts of new features, including new raid bosses and multiplayer content for, like, when you're waiting around for your turn to do the Brawlers Guild. They're also introducing a new currency called Brawlers Gold, which can be used to purchase these, like, shared items that you can use with other players in the Brawlers Guild. You'll also be able to earn new shirts and the new Iron-Spined Basilisk mount. Also coming in patch 7.15 are mini holidays, which, unlike the holidays we're familiar with in-game now, will not be tied to real-life things. So right now we have things like Winterveil that is tied to Christmas, and, Hallow's End, which is tied to Halloween. All of these mini holidays will celebrate in-game things like Encourage Remembrance Day, or Stormwind Guard Appreciation Day, or the Hatching of the Hippogriffs, or my personal favorite, Boat Day, which is kind of just where you go hang out on a boat. And I have a feeling there'll be goblins, although I don't know that as a fact. I feel like there would be goblins involved in that type of holiday. PvPers will be happy to know that the Blade's Edge Arena is getting a visual upgrade in patch 7.15. Along with the visual aesthetic revamp, they'll also be getting an Ogre King announcer to go with the new polished arena, which is kind of amazing, just because it's an ogre, and ogres are ridiculous. And much like every other patch in World of Warcraft ever, 7.15 will include a bunch of class and balance changes along with changes to talents and rotations as well as secondary stat balance and upgrades to legendaries, which will try to help balance them more between other legendaries. Legendaries, man. Things are happening. Aside from all of the stuff that we learned about patch 7.15, players were also treated to a wealth of information about the following patch, which may prove to be one of the biggest patches in World of Warcraft ever, patch 7.2. 7.2 will be introducing the Tomb of Sargeras 9 boss raid, which will follow Nighthold. People are super pumped about this because Sargeras, but also because they announced that the tier gear will be inspired by tier 6, also known as like the best tier gear ever. On top of the new raid, players will also be treated to a brand new dungeon called the Cathedral of Eternal Light, which will have 4 bosses. And the dungeons we have in-game now will be receiving updates so they remain relevant further into the expansion. So we'll see, some messing around with numbers on bosses in both Heroic and Mythic, as well as scaling loot appropriately. The Mythic system is going to be looked at and reevaluated to ensure that nobody is kind of taking advantage of the way it's supposed to work. We're going to see loot scaling better in Mythic Plus dungeons, and a new affix called Bursting, where enemies blow up when you kill them because Diablo, am I right? Kara will be split into 2 wings and will be queuable on a Heroic difficulty as well as Mythic Plus difficulty, as well as the Archway and Court of Stars, which will now have a Heroic difficulty. So dungeon updates all around. Of course, with such a huge patch, it's not surprising to hear that we're also getting a new faction, the Armies of Legionfall, as well as new outdoor quests, new world content, as well as an entirely new zone to quest in. Although, I guess it's not technically new because we're returning to the Broken Shore, but there wasn't a whole lot to do there, so it's like new-ish. It's new-ish. It's kind of new. It's mostly new. So I don't fully understand how this works, but while we're at the Broken Shore, we're going to work together with other players in our class order halls to build buildings to establish a foothold against the Legion on the Broken Shore. So again, I don't entirely know how this works, but I do know that it's like account-wide and other players will be able to see those buildings, and we're working together, man. We're working together to fight the bad guy, and that's more than we can say in real life right now, so good for us. Pat on the back. And probably the most hype news for World of Warcraft players to come out of BlizzCon 2016 is that 7.2 will allow players to fly once they have completed the Broken Isle Pathfinder achievement. Now, of course, 7.2 is going to add some new content to the Broken Isle Pathfinder achievement, so you'll need to do like all the new outdoor world content as well as become exalted with the new faction, Armies of Legionfall. But then you will be able to fly and it will be account-wide, and you're going to get your very own class flying mount, which is kind of awesome. Am I right? Death Knights will receive the Fell Frostworm. Demon Hunters will get this gargoyle guy. Druids will get owl form, which is amazing. I'm very, very jealous. Hunters will get this wolf thing that has wings, but the wings are like homemade. They're like DIY wings. They're like some Pinterest wings. Mages will get these floating magical discs. Monks will receive Shadowpan tigers, which fly because reasons. Paladins will get this totally not underwhelming armored steed that also flies because reasons. Priests will be receiving this owl cat mount thing. Rogues are getting the best mount in my opinion, the Raven. Shamans will get to ride around in this air elemental guy. Warlocks will be getting a fell steed, but it flies, okay? It's not the same as the regular fell steed because it flies. And warriors will be getting this proto-storm hybrid drake, which is freaking amazing. This isn't the end of the video, but I'm dying to know what you guys think of your class mounts, because as a shaman, I think my class mount is really weird. I just can't imagine the elements being like, yeah, sure, no, put a saddle on me. That's cool. I'm a horse. I'm not a great, powerful element. I'm a freaking horse. I just don't think the elements would like that very much. And if they were gonna like help me out in that way, I would have rather it been some sort of like a wind serpent, or, like maybe a bird that was made of wind. It just seems strange to me that I'm straight up riding a harnessed elemental. I don't think he would like that. But I also I'm leveling my hunter right now, and I'm very excited about that winged Pinterest wolf, because that's pretty amazing. I think the best mounts, though, are definitely the Raven, the Druid form, Oh, I like the priest mount a lot, and the warrior mount is really good too. But I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comment section below if you like your class mount, what you think about it, what your favorite one is, what the best one is, what the worst one is. I want to know all of your thoughts. And now back to your regularly scheduled video. 7.2 will also be bringing a continuation to your class order hall campaign, which I'm sure for those of you who have paid attention to the rest of this video are not surprised, since we have to work together with our class order hall in order to establish a foothold in the Broken Shore. But it's something that's exciting and something that people look forward to nevertheless, because this expansion, more than any, I think a lot of people have felt very attached and identified by and with their class. I don't know if that sentence made any sense. I feel like people are very attached to and are identifying themselves by their class more now than ever, and additional class order hall campaigns are only going to strengthen and reinforce that feeling, so I'm not mad about it. Also, there's going to be a whole mess of new legendaries, which will be eye level 920. Artifacts are also getting a slew of updates in 7.2, including new artifact traits, which everyone will be getting a new golden trait as well as a new utility trait. There will be further levels of artifact knowledge and a new catch-up mechanism for that. There'll also be new empowerments as well as new artifact relics, and I think the most exciting thing is that there'll be new artifact appearances, including one which is obtained via class challenge, which is a solo thing that's really hard to do, and the developers said that if someone had this appearance, you would know they were good, which pretty much guarantees that I won't have that appearance because not very good. PvP will also be getting a ton of updates in 7.2, including the new PvP season, but more excitingly, a new PvP mode called Brawl, and this is going to work very similarly the way it does in Overwatch, so every so often there'll be a new and kind of ridiculous game type. The point of this is to get more people playing, just kind of for fun, more participation, as opposed to like more serious PvPers. The game types in this are going to be kind of ridiculous, so you might be able to capture the flag while the flag is away, or it might be like a giant scale arena, or maybe there'll be really heavy winter snow so you can't see what's going on. There's another one where it's like gravity laps where you're floating around wildly. There's another one where you're permanently stuck on a ground mount the whole BG. It should be a whole lot of fun and chaos, and it should get a lot more people into PvP. I think this is also good for people who don't really PvP to try to earn those PvP variants without necessarily having to go into a serious environment where they're going to be letting their team down if they lose, because it's just for fun anyways. Before I wrap up the video, I do want to mention a few other things that we found out at Blizzcon, but we don't necessarily have dates attached to them or patches attached to them, but I still feel like they're worth talking about. Like, for instance, we found out that in the future there's going to be pet battle dungeons, and that future is Legion. They specifically said, in a Legion patch, we're going to do pet battle dungeons. What? What? I'm in. I am in. That's me. That's me being in. Yes, thank you, please. We also found out that eventually holiday events will be scaled for all levels, so they're going to be like level agnostic, so you'll be able to do your holiday events with friends that aren't necessarily the same level, which I really, really like. We also found out that Goblin and Worgen models are still on the back burner somewhere, and that there is something coming up in the future which is going to introduce a whole bunch of new hairstyles. It was specified not hair colors, but definitely hairstyles, and I'm okay with that because we haven't seen anything new in quite a while. It's been a few expansions, so I think that's something that a lot of people are really looking forward to. Also at BlizzCon, we found out that the token for World of Warcraft game time will eventually be usable for other World of Warcraft services like race change, server change, faction change, etc. We also found out that casting and ranged animation revamps are still very much on the table and in the works. And we also found out that Ysera probably isn't dead, and Vol'jin probably isn't dead. They're like Jon Snow dead. Also, that was a spoiler, and I'm sorry. There eventually will be new fishing artifacts and the return of the fishing tournament. That is actually aimed for 7.15, but they refuse to make that a promise. But when it does come back, it's going to be like a region-wide thing. So it'll be like the first 50 people to hand it in will get the prize, as opposed to the first person on your server gets the prize. And that's because of, you know, cross-realm and stuff like that. They want to make sure everybody kind of has a more fair chance. And possibly the most important thing that we learned about World of Warcraft this year at BlizzCon 2016 is that Medan is not canon. He's not here. He's not coming back. Stop asking about him because he's gone. They say if you love something, let it go. If you love Medan, let him go. If you don't love Medan, let him go. Medan is gone, and I'm not sorry about that. And if you don't know who Medan is, bless your innocent little baby heart. You're so cute. You're so cute. Medan is gone. Stop asking about him. Let me know in the comments section below what your favorite thing that we learned about World of Warcraft from BlizzCon 2016 was. For me, it's got to be either Pet Battle Dungeons or the new artifact appearance that I'm never going to get. I'm pretty excited about new legendaries. I'm pretty excited about Tomb of Sargeras. I'm pretty excited for the Falcon. I'm pretty excited for my class mount. Like, literally a lot of the things we found out were phenomenal. But I would love to know in the comment section below what you are super pumped and super hype about from BlizzCon 2016. I'm going to go. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I love you all. You're in my hearts. I'll see you soon. Goodbye. 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 Spined, iron spine. This basilisk's fuck. Shit. New shirts, basilisk mount. Okay. I don't fully understand how it works, but we're gonna build shit, and it's what we're gonna do. We're also going to be getting a whole bunch of new artifacts, which will be eye level 920, as well as a whole bunch of new, did I say artifacts? I meant legendaries. Shit.